said a lot of people turn down opportunities.
Well, first of all, a lot of people don't recognize an opportunity when it's staring them in the face. You know, they just don't see it. And a lot of people turn down opportunities because they don't want to take a risk, a failure. And I've known some writers and some artists. I knew one writer who wrote a novel, full novel. He sent it off to a publisher, and this was in the days when you could you didn't need an agent. You could send it just to the publisher, and you would get a response from the editor in person, personal response. And the editor rejected it, and the manuscript went in the desk drawer and never came out again. And a lot of people don't realize that they can be part of the professional world. And there's so many tricks I learned, again, the hard way, and also from advice from fellow writers and things, about when you send your material out. You try to, if you're sending out a novel, let's say, or a pitch of some sort, or even a headshot, you try to get it, time it so it gets in the hands of the person that has to see it, either a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Thursday, but not on a Monday or a Friday. Because psychologically, if it comes in on a Monday, the person had just come off the weekend, the editor, or the director, or the producer, and their mind is still maybe on the party they went to or whatever. And they come home and they don't have time for it. Or if it's the end of the week on a Friday, they're thinking of spending the weekend. So the stuff comes in, piles up, and they send it back. I was in New York trying to get more work in the comic book business. And in those days, it was difficult if you didn't live in New York, but you had to come in and have meetings. It wasn't like with the internet and everything today and email where you can do everything by remote. In those days, you had to go in for meetings and that sort of thing. So a friend of mine at Marvel Comics was having a party that weekend, and he said, "Would you like to come?" I said, "Sure." So I went to this party, and everybody there was in the comic book business. Writers, artists, letterers, colorists, and editors. And I struck up a conversation a long conversation with Denny O'Neil, who was an editor at DC Comics. And he said, "Oh, you're a writer. You're here probably to get work." I said, "Yeah, that's why I'm trying to drum up some work." So he said, "Why don't you come down to see me in the office on Monday morning when I get in? So, and bring down your whatever you have written to sell." So I went down there on Monday morning. Denny was there. We went into his office, and there was a stack of manila envelopes about this high on his desk. And he said, "What do you think those are?" I said, "Well, probably submissions that writers send in over the weekend." He said, "There could be a real masterpiece in there, but I don't have time to read all those." He gave them to his secretary and sent them back. Then he said to me, "What did you bring me?" And I sold those stories immediately. And that's when I realized the importance of personal contacts, networking, going out and meeting people, getting those people to like you and trust you enough to give you an assignment, or they do a sale, and also the timing of it. Now, sure, it was on a Monday. He looked at mine that came in on a Monday, but that's because I was there in person and we talked to each other at the party. But all the ones that came in through the mail and showed up on Monday, they got sent back, unopened.
And you went to the party, you took the chance.
Yeah, I took a chance to go to the party.
Right.
I know people that just never go to parties. Parties are socializing anyway. They just don't like it. And they don't believe that that sort of thing works. But it's always worked for me. I've had parties at my own house where all the people I invited were most of the people were in one of the industries I was involved in. And there were deals being made at my parties between writers and editors and actors and directors and things, because they were all on a friendly, social, level playing field. And but a lot of people just don't want to believe that.
Don, why do you never turn down an invitation to a party?
Why don't I ever turn down an? Well, there's some parties I might turn down an invitation to. And being single again, besides the business opportunities, there might be some pretty girls there. There might be some great food there. Lesson number 4 in life: never eat before you go to a party, especially if you're on a budget, because there could be some great food there. If there's not, you're probably on a diet anyway, so it's good for your diet. Either way, you come out ahead. But I love social activities like that. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. Some people don't. Some people are homebodies. They'd rather say living in their parents' basement, looking at a computer screen or talking on the phone all day. And people really are starting to lose the ability to have conversations with one another. I look at these kids coming out of school sometimes, and they're all of them, there'll be a row of them all looking at their phones, texting, and they're probably texting each other in that row. I don't know, do people still go out on dates anymore? I don't know if they do, or is it just hooking up and hanging out and that sort of thing? I'm glad I grew up when I did. I went to the prom in a tuxedo with a beautiful girl.